Hello everyone, my name is Imani Harrison. Today I'm going to talk about Tibetan sky burials. Viewer discretion is advised as some of the images below could be graphic in nature. Of course, I've tried to pick the least graphic ones, but if you're sensitive to gore, I would recommend proceeding with caution. To talk about Tibetan sky burials, we first need to talk about Tibet itself. Now, as you can see in this map, Tibet is actually located in China, the southwestern part of China to be specific. However, Tibet is an autonomous region, meaning that even though they're under the rule of China, they have their own government and rules. The Tibetan Plateau is actually one of the highest regions on Earth. Mount Everest is located in the border between Nepal and Tibet. On the other images presented on this slide, you can see a bit more about the traditional outfit and other pictures of Tibet. The main religion practiced on Tibet is Buddhism. And a bit of a fun fact about Buddhism, and it's the fourth largest religion on Earth, with 7% of the population practicing it. Not only is Buddhism a well-known religion, but it has its origins in China and is more of a philosophical tradition than a religion, as it seeks enlightenment and freedom of the needless suffering that is presented upon the mortal plane. Now that we know more about Tibet, we can now pass to the sky burials. These sky burials, or otherwise known as celestial burials, is a practice in which a burial master takes the body of the deceased and cuts it accordingly to then take it to vultures for the vultures to feast on the flesh. This not only takes place on their spiritual beliefs, but is practical as well. When getting rid of the body, it is hard to dig graves on the ground, as due to the high altitudes, the ground is always frozen and has cold temperatures. Due to how hard it is digging on the ground, graves are not often an option. So taking it to the vultures seems like a good way to get rid of said bodies. It is not only a practical solution, but if you look into the religion and beliefs, you can see it is important to them that is vultures specifically. Now, how they go about making this ritual? Well, their death rituals consist of very specific people. The Tokten, that is the burial master, who is the one who helps cut up the body, and the Dalai Lamas, who recite religious prayers. The body of the deceased is brought to the monastery, sometimes family traveling kilometers to get there, and it is left overnight as it helps put the body to rest and in preparation for the ritual. The next morning, a ceremony called Fuwa begins, in which the Dalai Lama speaks a prayer which helps the body into the next reincarnation cycle and transfers its consciousness to its next body. This ceremony can last over 3 days, but may vary according to the circumstances. Once the body is properly prepared, then a family member of the deceased must carry the body up high the mountains where the vultures lie, and the Tokten is waiting for the corpse. The family must carry the body by hand, as no other means of transportations are allowed. Obviously, if a family member cannot physically carry the body, other members of the community will step in to help. The walk to the top of the mountains usually takes around 1 hour. So it's a long trek. Why they do this and why it's based on their beliefs? Well, vultures are actually sacred animals. there are representations of the dakinis. Dakinis are embodiments of the cosmic female energy, and vultures are the fiercest category of dakinis. As you can see in the image at the center, this is the wheel of karma, or the wheel of life and reincarnations. You see, death is not the end, but the transition, according to Buddhism. And to gain good karma in the wheel of karma, you need to be very humble and kind to others. So when you give up your body to sacred animals as vultures to feed, it is seen as a very humble final act. If you wish to know more about vultures and how sacred they are, or more about the traditions and the karma wheel, there is a book to your right that says The Sound of Vultures' Wings, which goes more in depth about this particular topic. I chose this particular way of burial due to its oddities. I had never thought before about what would happen to my body after death, never mind it being eaten. However, I do see how beautiful this tradition is. I wouldn't personally do it myself. However, there's a beautiful meaning behind death not being the end and your final act being an act of kindness for someone else. In feeding the vultures with their body, they're not only helping the vultures, but they're letting go of everything they had. They're letting go of their mortal realms and passing to the next one. So I do believe it is a very nice traditions and beliefs, even though it may come from unconventional beings. Of course, here are some alternate resources. If you wish to know more about unconventional deaths, you can see the site Anthropological Perspectives on Death, where they take different types of burials all across different types of cultures and bring it to you from an anthropological perspective. Of course, since I had to remove some of the graphic things presented, I didn't get to go too in depth about the sky burial itself. If you do wish to go into the sky burial, there's a YouTube video called Tibetan Sky Burial, How Does It Work? A Window to Tibetan Culture, where you can learn more about this particular practice. I thank you very much for sitting with me through this journey about learning about Tibetan culture. And here we got to see several chapters presented to us throughout this semester. We got to learn about the history and religion of Tibet, how the disposal of bodies work, and the culture and religion that comes before presenting these bodies. So thank you for joining me in this journey. My name is Imani Harrison, and I hope you take as much interest in this as I did.